Well, here we are, another Friday hike. So I got all the way out to where I was going to go. I'm looking right into the sun. And got out to load up my pack, and my pack's not in my truck. I'd set it out in the garage to unload some antlers off of it, and there it sits. So, no pack today. I got 3 water bottles, a couple bars, and I'm going to go as far as that'll let me go. And we'll see what happens when I get some antlers to actually carry. But if I had a pack, this one might go for a ride. But as it sits today, that little crusty thing, we'll just call that the icebreaker and let it stay there. Little chalky, broken. Leave that one there for seed. Let it grow into something big and new. Alright, let's see what we can find today. Alright, so I just left that little chalker over there across from me. I've been working around this point right here. And I just looked down and I see a giant first poking out behind a rock. I don't know what else is there. Let me see if I can show it to you. So I'm going to zoom in first so we'll stay focused. Hang on. All right, you see that right there, dead center of the screen is just the first of an elk shed. The first at least looks big. I don't know what else is there, if it's busted off or the rest of it's tucked behind that rock. But I'm going to have to drop down this to go down there and see it. So hang with me. Let's go see what we got to start. All right, so we got a first. Now we got a second. Huh. I don't see a third on this bull. What do we got here? Holy, wow. Bull hasn't got a third. Or he hasn't got a second, however you want to look at it. He's a 4-point. Starting to get a little chalky. There's the first I could see from up there. Alright, let me look and see if we can't find the other side and match him up here. Well, the trick is to find ones that you can fit in your pocket when you don't have a pack. So we don't want any big ones, just little tiny ones. No, I'm hoping to stumble on one big set I can pack out of here. Let's keep going. Well, I just saw these bones right here. And then I was looking down the creek here. Sometimes it takes a while for your eyes to realize what you're seeing. It took me a while to realize I was seeing an antler down here, and then I was seeing 2 antlers, and I was seeing the back of a skull. Wow. That's a crazy bull. Let's look at it. Let's wash this down here some. He's weird. Fairly typical on this side. Younger bull. But you got a first and a stubby second, and then he had a... I guess that would have been his... Whew, that stinks. It would have been his main beam, but first, second, third, fourth, fifth, he's just odd. water stinks. Let's leave him here in the shade. Somebody might decide that's worth bringing out someday. Whew. Farm dog. Lenny, are you a farm dog now? Dog. Lenny, are you a farm dog now? Elk are in here. Thanks to the rains the last few days. I got Chunky and Honey with me today. Normally I wouldn't bring them out in an area like this because there's not water, but we had some pretty good rain. So it's always good to get them started out hydrated. We'll see if we can't turn up some antlers today. So I'm following the signs of this ruin that's got to be up here above me. Up the slope, you see pottery right there. Lots of pottery below me. Not all artifacts are obvious. Wonder if you guys can spot the artifact right here. I'm not talking about the pottery piece. I'm talking about this right here. So this might not be cool to some of you, but when I've talked before about finding arrowheads, or about how they made arrowheads, most of the initial roughing on an arrowhead would be done with percussion flaking, striking flakes off with a hard object. An artifact like this would be used for something like that, but it also, it could be called a nutting stone. But this right here, all of this right here is from continual pecking and hitting on something. So this actually was a tool, as much as anything is a tool to them, multi-purpose tool for a variety of tasks. And I want to show you this right here. This right here is banded obsidian, which we get a little out here. And it's one of my favorite materials. Look at that pottery. One of my favorite materials is that banded obsidian. It would be cool if I could show you an arrowhead made out of it. But it occurs naturally out here and further south. But they had all sorts of different. You got this material here that was hauled in. That material right there actually comes from quite a bit north. Well, a few miles north anyway. Look at this pattern. Super cool. Put that back there. Let me poke around here just a minute. Maybe I'll find you something cool. There probably is a cliff dwelling up here above. Because if you look where all the water's running off, wow. So I want you to think about this right here. How often do you have to repaint your house? This pottery right here is a minimum of 700 years old. Between 700 and 1,000 years old, this type right here. Look at the inks that they used back then that held up. But all this stuff, oh wow. Look at that jar rim. That's the top of a jar. Corrugated jar. Oh, look. Kind of a crude arrowhead. Not a pretty one, but it's worked on both sides. Little perforator probably, it wasn't an arrowhead. Ah, here's something. See this hole right here? You see how it's tapered? Drilled through from this side to this side. So this tool right here, actually, that I just picked up, this is the type of thing that would have been used to drill a hole like that. So sometimes these pots, all came from this same piece of pot right here. This is a really cool pot, but sometimes heat or other things, maybe you just mishandle them, they get a little crack in them. They would repair the crack by drilling a hole on both sides of the crack, sometimes multiple holes, and then putting yucca fibers or rawhide in those holes, and then when they dried, they would pull it back together. Here's another one. Here's another one right here with a little hole in it. It would pull it back together, and they could keep using that vessel for another period of time till it eventually broke. Sometimes you can find pendants made out of pottery shards or gaming pieces. And anyway, not to keep this too long or get too sidetracked, but if I find something cool, I'll bring you right back. All right, here we go. I think this is super cool. Now, there's not a whole lot left here. Up here, there's signs that there was rooms kind of on this cliff face. There's a few more down that way I just came, but there's not a whole lot that's obvious without kind of being here. But this one's left. It was tucked a little bit further up in there. And what's cool about this one is, as you can see, the wood has survived. Not only the wood, but look at that corn cob, that one back there. Honey, get out. Get out of there. This stuff is cool. Again, this is, I mean, they would take something like that, those corn cobs there, this could be easily dated, but that's going to be 700 or 800 years old. It's not quite far enough in there that just what's left here that you can see is left. But, you know, pack rat's nest was obviously not been there that long, but all of this right here, those original roof beams, have been sitting here for hundreds of years. And because we're dry and that's up in an alcove, they have survived. I love that stuff. Let's see what else is here. Oh, finally. I've lost Honey. I haven't seen her in a couple hours. I don't know where she's at. Hopefully she went back to the truck. Oh, walked a lot of miles. And I guess the bulls just didn't shed in here, or the bucks. No sign of, I mean, there's lots of sign of them here, but maybe they came in here after they shed. I haven't found anything fresh, but maybe it's because I'm blind, because look at this. Look at my boot tracks right here. So I'm walking along. There's my boots. I get right here, see where my feet are? And I looked at that. Look at that antler. Oh, that's a big old 6. That's a big old bull. It's been there a while. But that's a good one finally. Yes. I'm looping back to the truck and hoping Honey's there, but man, that thing's got beams for days. Everything's good on him. It might be chalky, but man, that bull was little nick off of his 4th is all. Let's see. Let me set this up and show that one to you so you can get perspective on what a good antler that is. All right, there we go. Let's try that. Hold still, camera. Look at that. Get all that in there. Not really an old bull, but just a solid 6. A nice solid 6. It's about time. You walked a lot of miles for that one. Well, we got all the way back out to the truck and Honey's not there. So I've had to come back in. I'm tired and Chunky's tired and I don't know where she's at, but I did just walk up on something here. What do you think that is? All right, so That is a well used up point. So this isn't broke, actually. It's been reworked till it was just, it's even, I think, possibly even been re-notched here. But that's what you would call an exhausted point. Would have started out probably this tall, and they just used it and sharpened it and used it and sharpened it till it was all used up. But those are actually cool because they probably have a long story behind them. Somebody got some use out of that one. Now cross your fingers I can find honey and maybe some more antlers in here. Where have you been, huh? Finally. Just about to give up. All right, now go find me an antler to make up for all this extra trouble. Whew. That's a good thing. I was trying to contemplate how I break the news to Lana that I'm coming home minus one dog. And the truth is, if the dogs went home and said, hey, Ricky didn't make it, I think she'd be less sad. Anyway, all right, let's get back out of here and hopefully loop. There's our tracks from earlier. Get up here and loop into some different country and maybe find something on the way out. If you haven't yet, if you've subscribed to the channel, stay with me on these adventures. It's always something. We always find something cool. The goal is big set of elk sheds. Keep going for that. Well, little bonus just before we get out. Look at that little guy. What is that, honey? Good girl. Good girl. What is that? He's got just a spike, but got some crap going on. There we go. Everyone helps make the day cool. This is really thick stuff in here, but man, there's lots of elk sign in it. I'm not far from the truck, maybe half a mile. See if we turn anything else up.